The oil empire was supposed to die in 1911 when the Supreme Court ordered Standard Oil to be carved into pieces before America. Instead, the breakup turned John D. Rockefeller into something even harder to explain, a punished monopolist whose fortune grew larger after judgment. For decades, his company had moved through American life like a hidden machine, touching lamps, railroads, pipelines, courts, newspapers, and politics. The mystery is how a boy raised around instability built the most disciplined monopoly in America, then survived its destruction richer than before. Rockefeller did not begin inside a mansion or boardroom, but inside a family where money appeared suddenly, vanished quickly, and left everyone anxious. His father drifted through towns under different identities, selling doubtful cures and leaving long absences that taught young John a brutal lesson. Stability was not romantic to Rockefeller, because in his childhood it meant food, order, work, and a house not ruled by uncertainty. His mother gave him religion, thrift, discipline, and the belief that money should be counted carefully before it could be trusted. By 16, Rockefeller was in Cleveland looking for work, serious enough to impress employers, yet young enough to be dismissed repeatedly. When a bookkeeping firm finally hired him, he entered the back room of capitalism, where ledgers revealed how power quietly moved. He learned that profit was not only made at the counter, but inside credit terms, shipping costs, timing, and small advantages. That lesson shaped everything he became, because Rockefeller would spend his life turning small advantages into systems that competitors could not escape. During the Civil War economy, he moved from bookkeeping into trade, selling produce while Cleveland grew into a strategic commercial city. But the product that changed his life came from Pennsylvania, where crude oil was erupting from the ground with violent promise. Before electricity, American homes needed lamp fuel, and kerosene made from refined oil could turn darkness into an enormous market. Drilling looked chaotic, risky, and crowded, but refining looked like something Rockefeller understood, a place where order could dominate chance. He entered oil refining not as a wild gambler, but as a cost counter watching an industry waste money everywhere. Cleveland had rail connections, access to the oil regions, and the industrial hunger needed for a young refinery to grow quickly. Still, oil prices swung violently because new wells could flood the market, while rumors of scarcity could make prices explode. Rockefeller saw that chaos was not just a danger, because chaos could also frighten weaker rivals into surrendering their independence. Standard Oil grew by improving refining, reducing waste, selling byproducts, securing credit, and demanding transportation terms smaller competitors could not match. The railroads needed steady freight, and Rockefeller understood that a guaranteed customer could quietly become stronger than the companies carrying him. Secret rebates lowered Standard's shipping costs, allowing Rockefeller to cut prices while rivals paid more to move oil on the same tracks. To customers, cheaper kerosene looked like progress, but to independent refiners, every price cut felt like a door closing. Then came the South Improvement Company, a secret alliance between major railroads and refiners that promised order while spreading suspicion. When oil producers learned the arrangement could punish outsiders and reward Standard, public anger exploded across the oil regions almost immediately. The plan collapsed under protest, but the fear it created became useful, because refiners now believed Standard had invisible power everywhere. During the Cleveland Massacre of 1872, Rockefeller pressured many local refiners to sell, join Standard, or face a brutal future. He believed consolidation would rescue a reckless industry, but his victims saw intimidation disguised as efficiency and business logic. The National Depression after 1873 made the pressure worse, because weak refiners needed credit, customers, barrels, rail cars, and time. Standard had better finances, better equipment, and stronger transportation deals, which meant crisis became Rockefeller's favorite hunting ground. While competitors were trying to survive, Standard bought refineries, controlled supplies, reserved shipping capacity, and made independence feel increasingly impossible. By the late 1870s, Rockefeller's company had become less like a refinery and more like infrastructure beneath American oil. Pipelines stretched across the eastern states, reducing dependence on railroads and giving Standard another way to control the market. That reach produced the image critics never forgot: the octopus wrapping its arms around wells, trains, factories, merchants, and lawmakers. Rockefeller lived modestly compared with other magnates, but the empire around him became enormous, secretive, efficient, and increasingly hated. Then electric light threatened kerosene. New oil fields threatened prices, and automobiles began turning gasoline from refinery waste into treasure. If you follow forgotten American fortunes, hidden power, and the ruins left behind, subscribe for more stories where wealth rewrites history. Standard survived change because it no longer depended on one product, one railroad, one city, or one moment in the market. Rockefeller also spread his fortune into railroads, mines, and strategic investments, including iron ore tied to the future of steel. His Masabi interests pulled him into the orbit of Andrew Carnegie and J.P. Morgan, where oil money touched industrial America again. The deeper Rockefeller's fortune went into American business, the harder it became to separate one private man from national power. But secrecy has a price, and Standard's closed doors made journalists, politicians, ruined competitors, and ordinary citizens imagine the worst. Ida Tarbell gave that suspicion a devastating voice, exposing Standard's tactics with the anger of a family damaged by oil power. Her reporting turned Rockefeller from a distant industrial genius into a public symbol of monopoly, bribery, silence, and cold domination. Theodore Roosevelt understood the public mood and made Standard Oil the perfect enemy for an America growing tired of giant trusts. The federal case produced massive evidence about secret deals, railroad advantages, corporate control, and the machinery behind Standard's dominance. On May 15, 1911, the Supreme Court ruled against Standard Oil and ordered the empire broken into separate companies. To Rockefeller's enemies, the decision looked like justice at last, because the octopus had finally been cut apart. But the separated companies were still valuable, efficient, and positioned for the gasoline age that was replacing the kerosene world. Because Rockefeller still owned major shares, the breakup multiplied his wealth when investors valued the pieces more than the whole. The punishment meant to limit him helped make him America's first billionaire, a final irony no courtroom had intended. In retirement, Rockefeller gave vast sums to medicine, education, public health, research, and institutions built to last beyond public hatred. His philanthropy helped fight disease and build schools, but it never erased the hard question beneath his fortune. Can money made through domination become clean when it later funds healing, knowledge, opportunity, and institutions that serve millions? Keep following Fortunes and Ruins for more forgotten American stories where ambition builds empires, power hides its cost, and collapse leaves evidence. Rockefeller's monopoly ended on paper, but its shadow remained in oil companies, court records, family foundations, and the arithmetic of American power.